Hey, how's it going? This is Melinda and welcome to my channel. Today I am talking about records that are so important in my collection that if I had to sell my turntable and all of my records, these records would stay with me forever. They are valuable, historic, sentimental, just records that I don't think I could ever part with, and I'll show you some of those. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe. I really appreciate each and every one of you for your support. And now let's go ahead and get on with the records. First off, this is a record I could not get rid of. I love the historic value it has. This is a promotional copy of Buckingham Nicks. Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, before they joined the band Fleetwood Mac, had this album. It is a great record and very enjoyable. Lindsey Buckingham is such a talented guitarist. Stevie has such an incredible, iconic voice now. But this was when they were young and hungry and in love, which was a very long time ago. This is the gatefold in the back. Again, just a really cool one to have, and a promotional copy at that. And what I really love about it is it came with this little letter promoting Buckingham Nicks. And it's just an interesting thing to listen to. Listen to the first sentence. It says, Buckingham Nicks are an exciting young duo whose perfectly blended voices are sure to be filling airwaves, concert halls, and living rooms for a long time to come. Yeah, I think they were right on that one. And they were in a different band called Fritz. And so in this one sentence it says, then with the breakup of Fritz, romantic involvement cemented an already close musical relationship, now committed to wax on Buckingham Nicks. And you know, they have went through a lot together. They were a couple. They broke up a long time ago. They've been in the same band, and as of lately, I guess things haven't been going very well with them. So, you know, sometimes with great blessings come a little bit of a curse, and their relationship has just been all over the place. But this is a very important record historically, because this is the roots of how the album Rumors with the other members of Fleetwood Mac came to be. So I really love having this, and it's a very important part of my collection. It was not a white label promo. It was on this Polydor label. The next record I'm going to show is one that is so important to me. It was one I grew up with and loved dearly. The Best of Tommy James and the Shondells. My mom had a copy of this one, and it is probably the one my sister and I played the most. And we have incredible songs on here like Crimson and Clover. You all know Joan Jett went on and made that one a huge hit. I Think We're Alone Now was a song that was reinvented in the 80s by Tiffany. Moni Moni by Billy Idol also went on to be a big hit. But every single song on here, Crystal Blue Persuasion's very cool. And I just must say, my mom sold her copy of this years ago in a yard sale. This is a reissue, probably from the late 70s, maybe early 80s. And it's a compilation. And yet it's one of the best sounding records I have and own. I love this. It rocks. It sounds amazing. So this is just something that's always going to be with me from now on. I wish I had my mom's copy, but this copy sounds incredible, and I love this album. Tommy James and the Shondells, it's their greatest hits. Now we'll talk about Led Zeppelin II, and this is the what they call the infamous Robert Ludwig hot mix. Robert Ludwig mastered this album. He did a phenomenal job. Led Zeppelin couldn't have been happier. The executives at Atlantic took copies of this album home to their kids. The kids put them on their turntables, and because it was such a hot mix, their little cheap turntables were jumping and skipping and not playing the record in full. So Atlantic made Robert Ludwig kind of tame down this album into something that just wasn't quite as good as it was before. This is the copy that was jumping off the turntables. It sounds so incredible. So I love having it. I have two copies of it. This is the cleanest and best version of this album I have. Another important piece of history, a fun Led Zeppelin just piece of information that I think is really cool. This next record is very special to me. This is Meet the Beatles. What makes it so great is this was my mom's copy. And if I could turn back time or be in a time travel, I would love to go back in time and be with my mom the day she bought this album. She was young, single, no kids, no divorce, no 2 jobs, trying to make it, just young and had the whole future ahead of her. She drove a convertible and was living the life. And that's the lady. I wish I knew that woman, because I always knew her as my mom with all the responsibilities and all of the hard work. I would love to have known my mom when she was single and free and had this album. Just really, really cool. And it is on the Capitol Rainbow label. The next record that I think is so cool to own is a very rare record. Came out for Record Store Day, I want to say back in 2013. I'm not 100% sure. But it was a limited edition of 500 records. So if I ever sold this one, the chances of me ever stumbling onto it again would be next to no chance at all, right? Procol Harum's A Wider Shade of Pale. This is the 50th anniversary EP. And I love the song Wider Shade of Pale. I have incredible memories of being at a theme park with my daughter. It was a theme park that had a water park inside, and her and I would get year-long passes, spend just days upon days in the summer at this water park. Towards the end of the day, when all of the screaming and all of the crowd was gone, you could hear the music that was playing in the background. And on heavy rotation was Wider Shade of Pale by Procol Harum. And it just reminds me of those wonderful summer days when my daughter was so young. I was a stay-home mom. Those were the sweetest days of my life. So having this is really incredible. And it's on a really beautiful vinyl. Very fitting for Wider Shade of Pale. Clear vinyl with white splatter. So I love having this one in the collection. It's one I'm going to keep with me forever. This next one is a box set. It's historic. It's something that's very special and means the world to me, especially now. This is a box set of the Dick Clark National Music Survey. While I was in Colorado last year, Eddie Van Halen passed away, but about a week before he passed away, I stumbled across one of these box sets at a store in Boulder, Colorado. And I became a Van Halen fan, an Eddie Van Halen fan, based on the song Oh Pretty Woman. And the Dick Clark National Music Survey is what introduced me to that song. My sister and I were listening in our bedroom on a Sunday night to the Dick Clark National Music Survey, and I heard the song Oh Pretty Woman, and I was blown away by the guitar playing. I love that song. I love the twist it took with it. It was a little harder, edgier, just fell in love. And I bought a box set, but a couple weeks later, after Eddie passed away, I went back and bought some more of these box sets. And I bought more of them that had the song Pretty Woman on it. And I was cleaning some records when I got back home. And after I'd cleaned this particular box set, I put it on and played it. And I got to, song number 10, and Dick Clark started talking. If I can leave a clip of what he says on here, I will, but I think because of copyright strikes, I don't think I'm going to be able to. But Dick Clark went on to introduce number 10 as the song Pretty Woman, and he was talking about how Eddie Van Halen had been voted in the best guitar player for 3 years in a row, and poof, every hair on my arm went up. I remember laying in bed as a 12-year-old girl and him saying that very thing. This particular program is the one I remember hearing and it introducing me to the band Van Halen. So for that reason, it is a very special record for me that I'll never part with. Hour 3, side 1. Really a killer moment for me. Hearing Eddie and Pretty Woman again, that just rocked my world, and I love having that one in the collection now. Now we can move on to a dilemma. if I had to keep one of these, let me show you this. This is the Rolling Stones, their Satanic Majesty's Request. This is a lenticular cover of a Record Store Day record that came out in 2018. And I have terrific memories of going because I wanted this album so bad. I was first in line. I got to meet a lot of really cool people, talk about music. That was my favorite record store day that I've ever been to. I had so much fun. And this particular copy came on a really beautiful blue splatter vinyl. So I think I would want to keep that one in my collection forever based on the memories of that and how cool this record is. I love this one by the Rolling Stones. I know they don't really, I mean, they might sing She's a Rainbow every once in a while, but they don't really love this album. But anyway, this is an original. I also have it, a lenticular cover on the beautiful London label, black vinyl. So I don't know which one I would want to keep. I would have a hard time, so I'm kind of lumping them both in. Would I keep the 2018 Record Store Day release or stick with the really cool original? Let me know in the comments which one you would stick with if you're me. And now I want to show you some records that for me are what I would call full circle moments. Just really highlights of why I'm in the vinyl community and I'm making videos, because I have been able to meet the most amazing people, make some really cool friends. And one of them is a guy that I have been watching for years before I really got into collecting vinyl as heavily as I do now. I was watching a channel called Almost Human by a guy named Ralph, who was making very cool videos about Kiss. I'm a huge Kiss fan, and he was making videos reviewing each and every album and showing really cool old vintage footage of Kiss and giving his honest and hilarious opinions about Kiss. And I mean, he had me on the floor rolling, and when he was really loving the albums, he let you know it. When he wasn't feeling it, he had a funny way of showing that one too. So I became a really big fan of the channel Almost Human by a very cool guy named Ralph. Ralph has an amazing vinyl collection, and he does show his vinyl on his channel, but he mostly talks about the music. And I'm just a huge fan. I reached out to him, I was commenting on his channels, and thankfully a friendship has become of that. And Ralph was so kind to send this to me. Black Sabbath is his favorite album, or I'm sorry, Black Sabbath is his favorite band, and he was very cool to send this to me. This is my favorite Black Sabbath album. This is, I think, a 2011 reissue, somewhere around that line. It is an amazing sounding pressing of this. I think it sounds really, really great. I wouldn't need to look for another copy. This is just perfect, and it's amazing to me to think that someone I'm a huge fan of, and I've been watching his videos for years, sent something my way. It's very just touching, and because of that, and the fact that this sounds so incredible and it's such a great album, you know, that means the world to me. I would never part with this. So Ralph, if you happen to see this, thank you so much. I'm a huge fan of yours, and sending this my way just meant the world to me. I really appreciate it. And also, after I had started collecting in vinyl, you know, really big, after I'd met Ralph or watched his videos, I also stumbled across an incredible video channel with a guy who had an amazing vinyl collection, warm, friendly. He now has a record store, a Riverbend Records, which is incredible. And I'm talking about Billy Hurst. So he had a channel named Billy Hurst. It's now called Riverbend Records. But he is not only a record store owner, he's a huge record collector. He loves records just like you and I do. And he did tons of videos, and he had my favorite channel, and I always look forward to seeing his videos. And he had a lot to do with why I do videos today. And it was so kind of him to send me a copy of his album. Before he was a record store owner, he was a recording artist and made some really great music. So I'm so happy to have his album in my collection. It's called Small Town Fool. This is the 20th anniversary special edition of it. I'm just honored to have that. I'm a huge fan still, and I love Billy Hurst, and I love his store. It's incredible. So thank you so much, Billy. I'll never part with those records. But you know what? This last one I'm going to show encapsulates why you and I will give up a Saturday or Sunday or both and go out and dig through records in record stores. This is the moment, the huge moment for me. This record is historic. It is valuable, and it is sentimental. The memory and feeling that is attached to this album, words cannot describe. I will never forget that moment. I was in Louisville. I was digging through the Beatles. You know, they just had this section for the Beatles, and boom, my mind was blown. This is what I found. And you all have probably seen me talk about this before. This is the Beatles yesterday and today. This is the cover. This was his sticker. It says, Butcher cover paste over $30. I saw that. My heart stopped. I immediately pulled it up. I could immediately see Ringo's V-neck right here. That means, if you're not familiar with it, this cover with this trunk and everything is a paste over cover. Originally, this record had a different cover to it. It was the Beatles, and they were wearing white smocks with black turtlenecks, and they had plastic baby doll parts and meat, and it was disgusting. And John Lennon loved it, and they wanted it on their cover, but there was an immediate backlash, and they had to recall all those records. And to save money, some of the plants just slapped this sticker on here. But if you look carefully, you can still see little places here and there where that old Butcher cover is underneath here, just lurking like a ghost. It's so cool. And this is worth a lot more money than $30. I still can't believe it was at that record store. But like I said, this is why we go out there. This is why we dig. And this is the payoff I got. So I'm so grateful. So those are my examples of records that I would never part with. And I want to remind you, I'm not selling my record collection. These are just records that if I had to get rid of my record collection, these are the ones that would always stay with me forever. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.